Let's go.
We don't. So, welcome to AFROmind Podcast.
Did you get the name? AFRomind Podcast.
Yes, hosted by myself, Alice Mills-Mai, and Dr. Lewis.
Yes. How's everyone doing? We started this podcast so that we can have a little bit more space to talk about mental health related things.
Yeah.
Sometimes some trending topics so that we can put that mental health spin to it.
Yeah.
So we hope you come along with us and enjoy the ride, because I think there are a lot of people in the podcast space who aren't necessarily healthy for us. So if we want to change the culture, maybe we have to change it from within. Yeah.
Yeah.
But why are we doing this?
Oh, you just said it, no?
Well, you tell them too. You tell them too what your motivation is.
Oh, so I mean, I'm a therapist. I'm a mental health counselor, always on TikTok. And sometimes TikTok doesn't allow some of that in-depth conversation. So I think we can have those in-depth conversations here. And also the state of mental health in Ghana, in Africa, it's not the best. I mean, I always say I applaud the practitioners who practice on the continent, but it's also not the best. And there's a lot of miseducation going on. So, so to educate and to reduce the stigma.
Mental health. Yeah. And so for everyone listening, the podcast will be on Alice's YouTube page. So if you follow her on either TikTok or even on YouTube, go. If you're on YouTube already, then you're great.
Yeah.
If you're on TikTok, go into her bio, follow the link tree to the YouTube, and that's where the podcast will be.
Yes. Is it going to be every Sunday?
That's the goal.
That's the goal. Every Sunday.
And we'll do seasons. We'll do 10 episodes at a time.
Yeah.
Take a break, come back for another 10 episodes.
Yeah.
Okay. And as long as you follow us and you stay in touch with us, you get to have some suggestions as to what we can talk about, right? So that's the plaudits of following us.
Yeah.
And you, of course, are going to stay in touch with as soon as we drop them, and some of the behind the scenes and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
I am really excited for it.
Yeah. So this is season 1, episode 1.
Yes. All right. So let's introduce ourselves a bit.
Okay.
Right. Who is Alice Mills-Mai?
That's my name, so so you can call me Alice. Alice is fine. So I am a Ghanaian, so born, raised, grew up in Ghana, secondary school, did some college education in Ghana. So born, raised, bred in Ghana. Licensed mental health counselor. So what that means is that I have a master's in mental health counseling. And then I am licensed in it in the state of Ohio and New York. So those two states. I would say my area of expertise is trauma. So I do a lot of trauma therapy, and I also do trauma research, trauma and resilience. So that's the two piece. I mean, aside of like professional things that I do, I do content creation. I am an auntie. I love doing that. I can pretend the kids. So I don't have to say. But it's just fun. I'm a daughter. I'm a firstborn daughter. I'm a friend. I like to read, although now I don't read as much. But hopefully when I finish with school, I'll read more.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And I am Dr. Louis Apiakubi, also from Ghana. I did all my schooling, including my bachelor's in Ghana as well. I attended University of Ghana, completed my Bachelor of Science in Psychology. And then I moved here sometime in 2010. Okay. And after doing a few things to settle, I went to graduate school to become a clinical psychologist. I specialized in the assessment and diagnosis of ADHD, autism, learning disorders, and that's my jam.
Okay.
The other day I was talking to my wife and I said, it's one of those things where, how there was a time when there was this little trend that said, like almost like nature gave you a starter pack, right? So I am somebody who's diagnosed with ADHD. My kids are diagnosed with autism. One of them has ADHD as well. So the fact that it's my area of specialty, it just works because I can speak from my experience as well as my professional experience and training. So as we go along, if you have any questions specific to those areas, follow me, let's talk. That's who I am as well. On the personal level, I am married, got 2 kids. Like I said, I am a brother to two beautiful sisters, son. But yeah, along
Yeah.
the way, we can answer any more specific questions, but that's
Yeah.
who we are.
Yes. Yes.
Let's talk about the state of mental health, and we can do from Ghana, maybe open it up a little bit to Africa. Let's do those two, like the state of mental health in on the continent, specifically Ghana.
Oh, that's funny. I think now people use the word. So maybe that's progress.
Yeah,
People may say, "Oh, this is not good for my mental health," or "I am doing this because of my mental health." So at least people are
talking about it.
using the language, or they are kind of being aware of it. However, it's not the best in terms of education, in terms of access, in terms of providers, in terms of everything. It's not the best, and people are not getting what they need. And also, there is still like social stigma. There is still the misconception. There is still religion. So things that really makes it difficult for people to either understand it or to get help.
yeah. Yeah, and I agree with you. I think it's getting significantly better. I mean, the fact that we're even doing this and we know we're going to have an audience that is interested and will benefit from it, I think it's probably something we couldn't have said 10 years ago.
Yeah.
So I think it's great that people are interested and want to talk about it, and there's still some people that would muddy the water up with ridiculousness. But,
Yeah.
I think we're on the right path, and I think as a society we're doing well. Hopefully, as more and more people get interested in the area, because access is huge. If anytime we talk to people about mental health and potentially going to therapy, they say either they don't
have the money,
have money, or they don't even know a therapist or where to find one.
Go, what to do,
So hopefully, the little bits that we're doing and the little bit that everybody else is doing back in Ghana and in other African countries would help make access a little easier. While we're on the topic, one of your hot topics that you typically talk about, that I think we're on not opposite sides, but we're slightly different sides. Because I do think that because our access is so limited, there are not enough therapists to go around, right? So it's important to educate the pastors and the imams and the Penny and the church leaders and stuff like that, so that they can spread the message to their people, right? And I feel like you're on a path where sometimes you're like, your pastor is not a therapist, so like
your pastor is not, but you are talking about educating them
so
that's different.
Right.
But even if you educate them, they are still not.
True, yeah.
Right? Unless they go to school and they get the certificate, but they are not. And they are causing more harm than good. So maybe the education piece
would help
in that way, that if they have the knowledge, maybe they can pass it on. But then they wouldn't play that role, because people still say, "Oh, I'm going to see my pastor for counseling." Right? And there are pastors who do counseling online on social media too. But yeah.
No, because I'm really, it's one of the things that I hope to someday do, because really I don't see for the next 10 years or so, I don't see a time where almost like the average person has access to a therapist, but everybody has access to a pastor, an imam, a church leader, maybe.
I mean, people are losing their trust in the church. True. But that's another topic. But they get more people
access
still.
to those people, right? So so if you are a pastor in Ghana, an imam, a community leader, please connect to the therapist in your area. When the time is right, you would have access to us as well, so that you actually get a lot more information and education about these topics, so you can better educate, your community, because some of the things
because they have a lot of power, so they can use their power and their influence for good.
But the balance is huge, because I think a huge portion of Ghanaians are still quite religious, right? So what do you have to say to folks on balancing religion and therapy? You do the things you need for mental health.
Religion is one of those things, when you talk to people, I don't think they are ready to listen, but you don't have to choose either between seeing a mental health professional or going to church. You don't have to choose. You can do both. And that is actually taking like a holistic approach to your mental health. And it will be best for you if you do both than if you choose one or the other. Yeah.
And if you're going to choose one, let it be therapy.
Hopefully, but people want to go to heaven, so they will choose. They want to go to heaven, so they will choose. They will choose the church, and hopefully, it doesn't end terribly for them. But yeah,
because I mean, if we're doing it right, to be honest, the church can be a very healing space.
Yeah,
but many people are not having that. Many people are not getting that experience.
It's not a safe space. Well, some of the churches, let me say, some of the churches are not a safe space for people. Yeah.
And this is probably one example as well where me as a man, my experience is going to be different from women in those spaces, because most pastors are men. Yeah. And the people that their influence often affects negatively are women. So I guess my impression of the church and how useful it is will be different from a woman's impression of the church.
Definitely. I mean, but it's still majority of the people going are women. So, I mean, that's why I like Agrada. So, I mean,
Mama Pat.
I support women's rights and women's wrongs. So
see, that's in you. But I mean, I get it. So, I always say this, like when some of my favorite people, if us, knock on wood that it never happens, but if you goof and everybody's bashing you, I won't come and say something, right? Yeah. Because why? Everybody, there are enough people bashing
going around.
Why would I come and join? Like, if anything, I will talk to my friend behind the scenes.
Okay.
Right. I won't come and add to the stuff outside.
In public.
Right?
Okay.
So I actually think I don't have a problem with supporting like your group and their rights and wrongs. So there are enough people bashing women. Them. Yeah. So why would I add to that?
Yeah.
So I mean, I get it. I get supporting women's rights and wrongs in the public, but Musia, when you meet them in the side, please advise them.
I mean, again, even Mama Pat, even her church is mostly women. So again, it's it's part of, I think, the socialization of women in Ghana, or let's say all over the world. All over the world. Yeah.
Okay. Now, while we're talking about Ghana, we have both been on Ghana. I mean, Ghana TikTok and TikTok in general for at least I've been going on for about a year now. You were already on there before I joined in. People can be mean. So why are we putting ourselves out there like this? I mean, we've already been doing it on TikTok, but now the more podcasts, because podcasts is a bit more open, we're going to share more of our thoughts and our beliefs and our opinions, right? And I feel like anytime you do that, you open yourself up to somebody who disagrees with you, taking jabs at you. Okay. Right? Okay. So, and now it's not, baby, like, why not just stay your corner and do your thing? Like, why does it feel worth it to you? Like, especially for the community and how they have, especially you, how they've treated you in the past.
It's fun. I mean, to me, some of it is funny, right? I don't take them serious, and I feel like at this point, what's the worst thing that they could say, though?
That's true, because they've already said everything.
Yeah, maybe again, you say something and then people would, they will surprise you, or they will let you know that they
there's
can
more.
go. There is more to them. Lower. Yeah. So, but it's not. If let's say I'm making a decision and it's like, oh, these are the things that are the pros and the con. The con is like,
it's small.
It's so small. It's not even significant for me to consider, and that's not even the first thing that will come into my mind. Like, oh, what would? Because again, first of all, the idea isn't to go after anyone. Right. And you can disagree if you want, but can you put your thoughts together and disagree?
It's been an insult.
Yeah, then we are not. Yeah. We are not disagreeing. It's not even.
Yeah, I keep saying
It
as
doesn't
long
even
as
matter.
my account is as small as it is, if you come and write nonsense, I just delete it. I won't even respond to
Yeah,
that.
and you can even set
Go back
TikTok. You can set some keywords,
filters.
and it will
Yeah,
just filter it. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I've been deleting some comments because sometimes when you leave it there, your followers will fight for you.
Yeah, yeah,
But sometimes I don't even want these people to even have the attention, so I just delete it.
yeah,
Then
yeah. I mean, like I said, what would be the worst thing people on TikTok can do? I don't know.
yeah, okay. Now, I think ultimately one of our goals for this also to encourage more people to take their mental health more seriously, go to therapy if needed. So for this intro episode, we can round it up with some ideas, especially given as we've already talked about that some people in those Ghanaian and African spaces may not have access to go and pay for therapy.
Yeah.
What are some things that they can do in between now and when they can afford therapy to just take care of themselves, stay in good mental health spaces?
Yeah, I mean, we as Africans, we are spread across the world. So if you are not in Africa and you are an immigrant, you have access to therapy and to those stuff. So use it, right? Even if you're on Medicaid, it's difficult, but there are therapists who take Medicaid, so you can find somebody. So if you have a job and your job gives you insurance, check to see if it covers mental health. Most of those private plans cover mental health, so you can use that. So, and also, even if, let's say, you don't have insurance, or the therapist doesn't take it, it's an investment in yourself. And sometimes when I say that, I think people feel like, oh, you're a therapist, you want people to bring money to you. And yes, that's true, but it's, at the end of the day, you are investing in yourself.
Yeah.
Right? It's not you are not investing in me. You are investing in yourself. And sometimes you have to experience therapy then to know how significant it is, right? Yeah, I've had people who will come to therapy. Yes, they come with their insurance, and then maybe somewhere along the line, I'll be like, oh, I cannot take your insurance anymore. And they'll be like, how much is it? I'll pay, whatever it is.
Because they've seen how useful it is to them.
They will say, whatever it is, I will pay. So you have to do that. And then if you're in Ghana, there are therapists in Ghana. I mean, it's not a lot, and the access and maybe the cost might be difficult. But again, if you are in Ghana, you have a good job, you can afford to see therapists in Ghana. So you can do that. It looks like, I think I saw that the National Health Insurance was going to cover depression and anxiety.
Oh, that would be great.
I don't know. Yeah. So probably that would be good. 37 has a wellness center. I think that's what they call it, because they said people don't like the mental health. So they have a wellness center. Kolebu has a wellness center or mental health center. Some private clinics have that as well. So you can really use that. And also, like, if you're in Ghana, I think talking to your HR people, right? If you can tell them, oh, we need some of these mental health workshops and stuff like that, bringing it to their attention, then they could look for people to come and do some of the education for you all. That would be very, very important. And then if all of this, you're like, I cannot do any of that. Like basic thing, right? Sleep, food, activity, really your environment. We talk about your thoughts. What things are you consuming? What things is going into your mind? You have to be careful of that as well. That's important. What else? YouTube have stuff on there. TikTok has stuff on there. I'm very cautious of self-help books, because some of them is written by people who have no idea what they are talking about. So before you buy a self-help book, make sure it's by a qualified person. not somebody. Men are blue, women are red. Those kind of people.
Yeah.
It's not good.
And
What
if
would
you,
you? Yeah.
yeah, and when you come on TikTok, like we said, I think many people, excuse me, many people do have access to TikTok. So spend some time on the lives of therapists, watch their videos, follow them, because sometimes we give out free tips that
Yeah.
people would come and write, and almost like, I never thought about this, or I didn't know. It's like,
Yeah.
I feel like we've done things out there that has been life-changing for people.
That's good. Yeah.
So do that, right? If you don't have access to therapy, you get a bit of it through us for free, so please take advantage of it. And I would say, when you go and just small, come and take some of this in.
Use some of your bundle for
For this.
for
It's gonna be
other
helpful
things
for you.
beside the fight. And because today there's a lot of fight on TikTok. I know when you go there, it's like 1,000 people and stuff like that.
What's going on?
It's
Every day different fights.
it's too much.
I can't keep up.
If you follow them, you get overstimulated every day. So in this first season, we are doing 10 episodes,
Yes.
right? Each, I think, no 2 episodes will look the same, but each episode will be different depending on what the conversation is on the TikTok or the social media space, and how it relates to mental health in that way. Yeah.
Yeah, we will try to cover some trending topics without necessarily going too personal, right?
Yeah.
But the basic idea will be coming at it from a mental health perspective, because we've realized that a lot of the conversations sometimes lack the nuance, right? So for example, the woman was 26 with 6 kids, for example. Like the takes that people are having about this, right? So I think we can hopefully help introduce some more nuance, some more stuff like that. So,
But
episode by episode, those are
Episode
some
by
of the things that
episode.
we will be touching on. We'll try to keep it all short and sweet, right around 30 minutes.
Yes. Yes.
So please subscribe and turn on the notification bell. We have just joined the like and subscribe gang. So
Like, subscribe, comment.
yes.
If you have questions, you have suggestions, you can you can send them to Dr. Lewis's DMs. I've told you, people, don't ever
Don't mind it. You can send them. You can put them in the comment section. But if you need to DM any of us, please feel free to DM us, and then we will try to address them week by week on these episodes.
All right.
But we'll see you on the next one.
Yes. Have a good week. All right. Bye.
Peace.